Hey there, welcome to another episode of Legends with Elroy. Today, I'm excited to tell you more about Billy Bob the Knight. Now, this story starts when Billy Bob was taking some rest. What was that? Oh, the front door. So Billy Bob made his way to the front door and he opened it. And he looked out and there was Stanley the skunk and Porky. Now remember, Porky was not a pig. He was a porcupine. And anyways, Stanley said, Billy Bob, me and Porky need your help. And Billy Bob said, well, what do you need my help with? And they said, you see, Billy Bob, a couple days ago, we were off by the great river. And we were going to go ahead and swim across so that then we could go ahead and get some of the wonderful fruit that is on the other side of the river. And Billy Bob said, okay, well, is the fruit good? And they said, well, we didn't make it to the other side. See, we started out and we were going to swim, but then we realized the water was really fast. And you know Porky, he doesn't like swimming in fast water. Do you, Porky? And Porky was like, yes, I don't like swimming in fast water, because if you swim in fast water, it gets kind of scary. And Billy Bob, he agreed. And then Stanley said, so we decided that we would make a little raft. But what do you know, there was a canoe. And so we thought, well, we'll just borrow this canoe, and then we'll put it back where we found it, and everything will be fine. So we got on the canoe, and we started across the water, and then we started hearing all this snorting, and this great beast rose out of the water, and we went, ah! And we paddled back to the shore. It was scary, Billy Bob. And that's why we're here, and we need your help. Because we want you to help us get across the water and potentially have to fight the beast. Billy Bob said, well, what did it look like? And Stanley said, well, I don't really know. I was so busy being scared and pedaling away from it that I didn't get a very good look. Porky did too. And at this point, they looked over at Porky, and Porky was like, just thinking of it's scary. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess we don't know what it looks like. But it made a snorty noise, and it was kind of round. But that's all I really know, because it was just a shape out of the water, and it was like, ah! Billy Bob said, okay, well, let's go. So they made their way to the great river. And Billy Bob looked out over the great river, and he said, I don't really see anything. And he said, that's the thing. We didn't see anything either. Now, you see, there are some reeds over there, and in those reeds is where the beast came out of. It's probably hiding in there. And Billy Bob said, well, I could hop on a boat, the canoe you have over there, but I have a different idea. So Billy Bob said, here we go. Stanley, you and I are gonna do this. And Porky, you can... Where's Porky? Porky was hiding. Porky likes to hide. Anyways, Stanley and Billy Bob were gonna do it. What were they gonna do, you ask? Well, here's the plan. Billy Bob said, Stanley, this is what we're gonna do. Here's my sword. Whoosh, whoosh. He chopped up these long branches. It took quite a few swings, even though the sword was sharp. Because you're not really like chopping branches with swords. But anyways, he had these long branches, and he cut 4 of them. And then he gave 2 to Stanley, and he kept 2 for himself. Then he got some of the reeds, and he pulled them out, and he cut them as well. And then he tied those right around his leg and around the sticks, so that he and Stanley were on stilts. So they were both super tall, and they could hear Porky in the background saying, oh my dear, they're so tall, oh. He was pretty impressed, but he stayed hiding. Anyways, Billy Bob said, here's the deal, Stanley. if we do this, this beast will be scared of us, because then we'll be taller than it. And Stanley said, that kind of makes sense, but man, I hope it doesn't get mad at us, because it's going to be a long way down. Also, how deep do you think the river is? Billy Bob said, I don't think it's that deep over here. I used to swim around here when I was a little Billy Bob. And Stanley said, you were a little Billy Bob? Wow, what a thought. So, they made their way to the shore. And remember, they were both standing with their legs on top of those sticks, so they were very tall. So they started wading into the water. Stanley said, Billy Bob, what do you think's gonna happen when this thing sees us? Billy Bob said, I don't know, but it's okay. I'll protect you, Stanley. And Stanley said, I hope so. Kinda wish I was with Porky. Porky? And he looked back and Porky was eating his lunch. Actually, to be more precise, Porky was eating all of their lunches. They had taken 3 lunches, and the lunches were very good. There were sandwiches, they even took tea, and they had little fruits, not as good as the fruit across the water, but very good fruits. And then they had little cupcakes and some cake. Not to mention lemonade. But, of course, Porky was over there just eating them all. So, Stanley was like, Porky! And Porky was like, sorry guys, I can't hear you. Let me finish eating. Porky, you never know what that guy's gonna pull. Anyways, so Billy Bob and Stanley kept going. And then suddenly they heard a whirling and a snorting and a loud noise. And said, who enters? And Billy Bob looked around and he said, wait a second. Is that you, Henry? And Henry looked up and he said, Billy Bob. Now, Henry was a hippopotamus. Now, you may not be familiar with hippopotamuses, or you might be. Hippopotamuses are kind of like big pigs when you think about it. But they're like huge, like really big. Like think a refrigerator, but a pig. And they're very rounded. They look a little bit different, but they're kind of like big pigs. They have a rounded snout and they have massive jaws. Now, they're herbivores, and so that means that they eat, plants. But they are very dangerous to humans most of the time. But Billy Bob happened to be very good friends with Henry because they grew up together. They actually used to play football together. I don't really know how they did because, Henry's a hippo. Also, I didn't know that they had football back then. But anyways, Billy Bob used to play it with him, so they would play together. And Henry said, is that you, Billy Bob? Oh, it's so good to see ya. Why didn't you tell me? I would have gotten some tea cakes and had some wonderful food ready for you. And Stanley was like, tea cakes? Ooh, that sounds good. Porky also showed up, and he was ready for the tea cakes too. And Billy Bob said, Henry, why is it that you scared my friends? And Henry said, well, I didn't mean to scare your friends. They woke me up from a nap. And I was getting up and I was quite cranky, so I thought I'll have some fun and yell at them. But I didn't mean to scare them. I mean, the poor little porcupine, he was screaming, oh no, we're not gonna make it. And he was all having a scary time, but I didn't mean to do that. Billy Bob said, Henry, I know you didn't. Now you see, my friends over here, they would like to go across the water to get some fruit. And Henry said, well, go for it. That's fine by me. Also, what are you doing on those sticks? He said, Billy Bob said, oh, it's just a little invention. I thought if you were some monster. Henry was like, those are pretty cool sticks. Can I have some? So they cut Henry a pair. But it was like 2 trees. But anyways, so all 3 of them walked across and they got some fruit from the trees. And then they brought the fruit back and they had a wonderful meal. And Porky joined in. Somehow he was still hungry after eating everybody's lunch. Good old Porky. But anyways, Henry was actually a really fun guy to hang out with. Stanley and Porky figured out. And Billy Bob really enjoyed getting to catch up with his old friend. They even played a little bit of football. But when the hippo tackled Billy Bob, it hurt, because they're big. But anyways, after a very, very fun day, they all went home. And Billy Bob said, well, I guess I should take a bath before bed. And he said, a splish splash, I was taking a bath. All about the Saturday night. A rubber-dubber, just relaxing in the tub. Thinking, what was that? But that, my friends, is a story for another day. Well, I'll see you guys in the next episode of Legends with Elroy. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See ya.